So we're here with Gary from Auto Lounge. Now, Gary, there's quite a process involved in trimming a car like this. Can you take us through the process?
Normally they come in quite grubby, so one of the first things is to clean it.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's just a slow build up. So normally we start with some sound insulation, which is basically it's like a very thick felt with a rubberized coating on it.
Yeah.
It's heat and noise insulation, so it helps on both sides with that. And then it's a gradual build up, so we'll do a layer of felt and then we'll lay a piece of carpet over that. Where the carpet steps off, we then bring the piece of felt up to the edge of that piece of carpet for the next piece, and then run the next piece of carpet over. It's so you don't actually get any steps within the, as you build the layers up. With the carpet, it's all welted on the edges, so it's actually the leather's wrapped around the edge and sewn and then carefully pared off. So for instance, on a section like that, you can see that the edge is covered all the way around. One, it's neater. Two, the main thing is it doesn't fray. It stops any fraying on the edges. Also, what I do, which a lot of trimmers do now, it used to be there was carpet fasteners that we used, which were studs that were put through the carpet. The problem with that is you've got two small studs holding a large piece of carpet.
Yeah.
As you get in and out, it tends to pull on the carpet. The studs rip out the carpet.
Right.
So in a very short period of time, the carpet gets damaged. So we actually use a wide Velcro and sew that on. Gives you a lot better support over a larger area, and it just prevents any rip out and anything. Also makes it a lot easier to take the mats out for cleaning.
Yeah.
So
which is great.
that, yeah.
Yeah. And we've gone for this burgundy, or Les has gone for the burgundy. It's lovely on the handbrake here and the pillars. This is different, isn't it, from usual?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these were done all in black. So with this, we're just trying to maintain that colour level. Because the back deck we're actually going to do in the marine leather as well. Yeah. So it'll actually have that look that when you actually have the hood down, you've got that lovely burgundy all the way around. It just gives you that nice sort of finish all the way through. You tend to keep it black around the dashboard and on the A-pillars. Yeah. Purely so you don't get reflection off the road. Because you get, if you have a light coloured dashboard, you'll get that reflection on the screen, which makes it harder to see. So if you do see someone with a bright coloured dashboard, they can't see you coming. So best to avoid that.
Yeah. And one thing people don't realise is, of course, with this sort of thing, you were telling me earlier, with upholsteries, it's easy to do that type of thing. With this, you've got involved electrics as well with a car. It's a different...
That's right. I mean, on this particular vehicle, obviously, there is a lot of electrics. Although we're not doing the electrics, you guys are doing the electrics, there is still a certain amount that I have to be aware of as I'm laying the carpet to make sure they're not trapping any cables or anything like that. So, and sometimes wires won't be long enough because people go, oh yeah, that's long enough, but then when you have to route it under carpet, suddenly it's now not long enough, so I'll have to extend wires and stuff like that.
We're going to have to extend the wire down there, aren't we? Because that's a bit short.
This is for the under-seat subwoofer. There's also no RCA leads at the moment, so again, I'm going to put those in for you.
We'll be ripping out the carpet, which we don't want to do at this stage, so you're going to fit that in for us and make that look good,
So I'll do that first before, so there's a minimum amount of messing about that you have to achieve when you have the vehicle back. So.
Yeah. Can we move on to the doors and have a look at what you've done there?
Yeah, so the original door panels were absolutely completely rotten. They're actually made out of hardboard. Right. Obviously with old type cars, water gets in, gets damp, the board itself just warps. Okay. So what we tend to do, we make it out of 3mm birch ply. Right. That guarantees stability. Also longevity. We generally cover the back of the boards with we have a very special polythene that we use, which is very good. Doesn't deteriorate and keeps the moisture off the back of the board. So again, it just protects the back of the board, so any moisture that does get inside the door, it's not actually going to affect the panels at all. Just keeps the panels looking flatter and crisper for a lot longer period. You don't have any issues with them, which is a good benefit.
Yeah. So if you had time to work on the one car, how long it takes to work on the one car? You've got lots of different cars and things going on here. So how long does it take to basically trim a car?
It can vary. I mean, this one, I know there's a lot to do, but this in theory is quite straightforward. This will still be somewhere in the region of about 160 hours of labour.
Yeah.
But we certain vehicles that we're doing a lot of modifications to can be 300, 400 hours of labour on them, which you know, it's quite a substantial amount of money.
It is,
obviously, an investment really for the client.
Yeah. People don't realise the work that goes in. They see something finished, we were talking about this earlier, and they say, wow, that looks great, but they don't realise the work that goes in.
Yeah, I mean, that little bit of carpet there, that's probably about an hour's work.
Yeah.
By the time you've shaped it, you know, trimmed the edges off, welted it, it's ready to go in the car. There's an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And looking around the car, there's probably 17, 18 pieces of separate carpet here.
Yeah.
So, and some take more than an hour. For instance, putting that in, because with this you actually cut an oval shape out the carpet, and then you lay two pieces of leather together face to face, and you draw that shape in, then you machine that shape, then you cut it out, and then you lay it into the carpet, and so it folds out either way, so you can welt it, so you get a very crisp edge, because trying to welt that in one going round, it's just so difficult, it's impossible. We didn't actually have one to copy, so all I've done is I've looked at some images online, and then actually made one from some images online and measurement. Obviously the dashboard we trimmed, that was a very long time ago we did the dashboard.
Yeah, and it looks great.
Again,
it
it's all with double top stitching detail. It's a lot of work. I mean, that alone, that dashboard was probably 20 plus hours just doing the dashboard.
Yeah.
Because I had to pattern it from scratch, because again there's no leather cover or anything on them from original, so it is a case of just purely patterning the whole lot from scratch and working through. So this is not actually for the Stag, but it's for another vehicle. Again, it's the same idea. So again, it's made of very thin birch ply.
Yeah.
We make a pattern. We make all the holes. These
so what do you use to get this really nice accurate?
It's a cone cutter, so it's like a step drill.
Yeah.
Obviously these are hand cut circles, but each individual hole has a purpose. So, for instance, the ones generally on the outside are for trim fixings.
Yeah.
But then these ones will be for door handles. This will be for a cabling section to come through. It all varies door to door. But once we've got this, we will then actually glue sections onto it. So on this one, which is it's been top stitched. So you've got the top stitch in there. This is actually for a Porsche, so that we'll line all our marking points up. Once that's glued on there and that's all turned round, that is your cover.
It's stretched out nice and...
Oh yeah. It's very nice and tall, stretched all the way over. And actually on this particular panel there is a lower section which is carpeted, so you don't actually see a lot of this lower section here.
Right, okay, brilliant. So here we have the door handles, how they fit on.
Well, these are actually bolted through the door panel itself.
Right, okay.
And then there is some, underneath there's an individual fixing, just obviously so when you pull on the handle it doesn't pull out the door panel off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will actually be mounted onto the door.
Nice again in the burgundy, like that.
Yeah, and we've kept there's a feature line there which we've maintained. We've had to repair these because the plastic underneath was quite damaged.
Right.
It dried out with age and cracked. So we've actually repaired all that and put a very thin layer of foam on there, which just gives you that clean finish. Otherwise you'd actually see some ridging and bumping. But yeah,
and this kind of fits in with the colour as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's an original piece of the car there, so it's a good colour match. So we just thought, well, that can go in, we don't need to paint it. We just gave them a good clean really. So yeah, I mean that's ready to go on once we've had the door panel together.
Again, looking forward to seeing it done.
Yeah, same here.
So here we are, Gary, with the old back seat, isn't it? The bench seat.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is the original. So what do you do from this point in the process?
So you can see I've got some marking points which I've put on.
Yeah.
We then basically cut all the cover apart. So the cover all comes apart in sections, and then basically we're going to recreate that in the new material. A lot of the panels are laminated, which means they have a layer of foam sewn into them. Just gives it a bit more body, a bit more padding, helps keep the shape to a certain extent. The hardest part is doing the flutes and making them all exactly the same size, which is all part of the fun.
Yeah, can imagine.
But these are what's called tuck and roll flutes, which instead of just having the stitch line on the surface, they're actually sewn so you can't see any of the stitching. So they're sewn in a loop, which are then another loop and another loop. Okay. To actually achieve that. So you can actually see just on the ends. Yeah. You can actually just see that looping there. Yeah. So the hardest part about doing these is the marking out. If you get the marking out wrong, then
oh dear.
Yes, exactly.
There are lots of stitching and sewing machines in here. We've got the old Singer machine, which is really, he's been talking to Gary, he's got a jack machine. He reckons that they all do different things, but this is the most intriguing piece of kit. What's this called, Gary?
So this is a skiving machine. Right. Not for slacking off work. But,
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So we take our normal piece of leather, and occasionally we need to just turn the leather. If you just turn it and sew it, you get quite a big lump. Right. So this is quite handy. So what we can do, I'll just show you on here. So we can just put that under there, and when we run it through, we can run a section through, and you can see there. So from that's unskived, and then that's skived. Brilliant. So then when we turn that edge over now, we have a really thin, clean edge, which gives you a beautiful finish if you're actually rolling it round part of trim. Yeah. Or even if you're making straps up, sometimes you just want to turn that edge in so that you don't get any raw edges showing at all. So
lovely, clever bit of kit, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic piece of kit. So yeah, that's a skiving machine.
Auto Lounge has over 30 years of experience and has a wealth of knowledge on all makes of vehicles. Their work includes embroidery designs, heated seats and in-car audio. Check out their Instagram page and website. All the information is in the link below. And if you want to see some other great interior, check out this video.